Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Devaha. Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha. Sthirairangaye Stuštavagum Sastanuvihi. Vyashema Devahitayadayuhu. Swasti na Indro Vriddhashravaha. Swasti nः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति 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 हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ Namaste once again everyone.
Namaste Guruji.
Namaste.
Namaste Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. So, we are seeing one of the very important mantras of the first Mundaka, the 12th mantra, which is a sort of a summing up mantra of what we have gone through in the first section, that is first section of the first Mundaka and second section of the first Mundaka. Okay. So we will chant the mantra. Pariksha Lokan.
Pariksha
Lokan.
Karmachitan.
Karmachitan.
Brahmanaha. Nirvedamayat. Nastya kritena. Tad vijnanartam. Sa gurumeva bhigachet. Samitpanihi. Shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Good. So, after completing the discussions on the topic of Aparavidya, we have now entered the last two mantras of the second section of the first Mundaka, which I had told in the last class are transitory mantras, transitioning the seeker from Aparavidya to Paravidya. And in this mantra, it is pointed out that a seeker of moksha, after learning what all has been said about Aparavidya, its merits, its demerits, should undertake an objective examination of the efficacy of Aparavidya to deliver the goal of moksha. And this, the seeker has to undertake the examination himself. He should not just go, okay, my guru has said apara vidya is useless, so I will accept it. He should not do that. Because if somebody else tell you to do something which you are not in tune with, obviously, because he's a guru or a parent or whoever it is, somebody higher in status, you will listen, but you will not put your whole heart and soul into that. And therefore, this pariksha examination should be done by each and every seeker to get convinced what apara vidya can deliver, what apara vidya cannot deliver. That is very important. And after discussing the introductory bhashyam, the Sangati bhashyam, we entered into discussing the word meanings of this mantra. And as I said, the idea conveyed in this mantra can be divided into 4 parts. So the first idea conveyed is pariksha. Pariksha means having thoroughly examined from all angles. Lokan, the fields of experience, which comprise of actions, the accessories for performing the actions, and its results. Then karma chitan, acquired through action. The results which are acquired, that is lokan karma chitan, experiences and the results which are acquired through action. So having examined all the worlds or all the fields of experience which are acquired through karma and upasana, one becomes sattva guna pradhana. And such a person is here called a brahmana. And as I explained in the last class, here the reference to brahmana is a guna brahmana, not jati brahmana or karma brahmana. So through the practice of karma yoga, he becomes sattva guna pradhana, gains chitta shuddhi, jnana yogyata prapti. And in this process, he develops a balanced mind, an objective intellect, because of which only he is able to do the pariksha of loka, examine all fields of experience representing the results of action. And what is the result of this examination? We have already seen earlier that everything in the creation, dharma, artha, kama, all these purusharthas have got 3 doshams, 3 defects. What are they? Dukkha mishritatvam. They are a mixture of pleasure and pain. Atriptikaratvam. All accomplishments are finite. And therefore, contentment or satisfaction will never come. And the third is bandhakatvam. It makes me more and more dependent on external objects, external gadgets, external relationships, to the extent that I become addicted. Instead of my handling the objects, they start handling me. In fact, in today's world, if you actually think about it, many people cannot imagine a life without, say, mobile phone. The mobile phone immobilizes many people and they are unable to do anything. Even their routine chores, they ignore. We have seen so many cartoons, In fact, I was just seeing one cartoon. It was a photograph of a burnt, some foodstuff burnt in the microwave. It's all become black. So the joke was how to prepare this dish. Put this dish in the microwave, switch it on, and go and browse your mobile phone. Automatically, result will be this. So whatever the mobile phone today has actually taken our complete attention away from all that we are supposed to do. In fact, there are people who wake up 2-3 times at night to check their mobile phones. And I am not making up all this. Of course, everyone is not like that. But I have personally come across such addicts. Early morning, they will get up at 3 o'clock and check the mobile phone and then go to sleep. Addiction is so strong. And therefore, my dependence on such things is so much that in their absence, I become miserable. I cannot even imagine a life without those objects. And as I said, this applies equally to relationships also. That is bandhakatvam. So all these three purusharthas, artha, kama and dharma, have got this defect, this dosha. And these doshas, the karma yogi discovers when he examines these material goals. So the Brahmana has done the analysis of the Purusharthas. Means what? He has analyzed what he really wants, what he or she really wants in one's life. He perhaps questions himself for the first time. He tells to himself, I have been running around like a rat. I have been in a rat race all along. But what do I really want in my life? I may be doing so many things. I might have acquired so many things, so many properties, etc., so much wealth. But what do I really want is the question he asks himself. Then he discovers that what he really wants is satisfaction, happiness. And satisfaction or happiness is not a particular object like a house or a car. And therefore, what happens? His material pursuits become secondary. They are no longer as important to him as they were earlier. He now wants to be happy and satisfied and contented in his life. And what is the consequence of all these things, this analysis? And that is said in the second quarter of the mantra. Nirvedam ayat nasti akritaha kritena. Nirvedam ayat. Ayat means he should come to, he should arrive at. Nirvedam. Nirvedam means vairagya, dispassion. So having carried out an in-depth analysis of all material goals represented by artha, kama and dharma and found them to be irrelevant for his spiritual journey, which is denoted by his mumukshutvam, the desire for freedom or liberation, desire for moksha, this Brahmana would arrive at this vairagyam. Pujya Swamiji used to say is, he used to say that the absence of connection, seeing the absence of connection between what I am doing and what I am seeking in my life, and finding that what I am doing is not in tune with what I am seeking is Vairagya. Such a beautiful definition of Vairagya he gives. So first you have to see the connection, the absence of connection between what you are doing and what you are seeking. If you are seeking in life is, your goal in life is to build a big mansion, and you just, every day you are just passing, you are whiling away your time sleeping and, in laziness, then that goal will never be achieved. And that is what is said here, nasti akritah kritena. Nasti means not there, or we can translate it as not possible also. What is not possible? Kritena. Karmana kritena we can add. So karmana kritena, that which is produced by performance of actions. Akritaha, that which is not produced. That which is not a product of action. Nasti, it is not possible. So this sentence seems very, very cryptic, isn't it? Upanishad language is like that, Many times a very, very deep, profound message will be conveyed through some 2, 3 words which will be very cryptic. Then we have to unravel the message. Let us understand what the Upanishad wants to say. The word kritaha means that which is produced, that which is a product. And we know that any product is within time and space paradigm. So anything that is created will have an end also. Jatasya hi dhruvor mrityu. And therefore, karmana kritena, anything which is produced by performance of actions will be subject to destruction. It will be limited. The aspect of limitlessness will not be there in any result of karma. On the other hand, akritaha means non-product. Non-product means what? That which is not produced. Means what? That already exists. That which is not produced. And therefore that which is beyond time. And therefore beyond space also. And what does that imply? That implies nityam. Nityam moksha. Eternal. Nitya, which is moksha. So akritaha means nitya. Kritaha means what? Limited. Not permanent. Akritaha means permanent. That permanent which represents limitlessness. So from kritaha, from the result of karmas which are finite and limited, we have to go to limitlessness, because limitlessness is nasti, not there in kritena. This is what the Upanishad wants to convey. So we can rephrase this sentence. Karmana kritena vastuni akritaha nasti. And the Upanishad wants to warn us that limitlessness or fullness or purnatvam is not possible in any product which is the result of karma. And this is the conclusion a Brahmana should come to after Pariksha Lokan, after examining the result of karmas, after evaluating all the fields of experiences. And in this manner, nirvedam ayat. He should arrive at nirvedam, vairagyam, dispassion towards all ephemeral material goals. So the idea is that permanent moksha is not possible by any karma done by anybody. So now this person who has come to this conclusion wants to know how to get that permanent limitlessness or fullness or purnatvam, which is his only goal in life. So his only goal now is what? Moksha. So he becomes a mumukshu. And therefore, after gaining such vairagyam for all material goals, which are the result of action, after knowing that the karma road will not take him to moksha, he wants to know which road he should take to reach moksha. So there is a curiosity in him. He is in the search for a new path in life, the spiritual path. The mumukshu is now transforming into a jignasu. And therefore, what he should do is stated in the third quarter of the mantra. Tad vijnanartam saha gurumevam abhigachet. So if he wants purnatvam, if he wants moksha, he has to go to a teacher to get the guidance, to learn which path he should take, to learn how to travel in that path to moksha. Because all along, he knew only one means to achieve anything in life, that was karma. His firm belief was, whatever I want to achieve in life, I have to do some action for that. And the result of that action is my goal. So whenever he had any artha, kama, dharma goal, he had resorted to karma to accomplish that goal. But now he realizes that all those accomplishments were limited in nature. The satisfaction of being limitless, being fulfilled through those limited goals lasted for some time. No doubt, there was some satisfaction when those goals were achieved. But what happened? Soon thereafter, once again, the dissatisfaction, feeling of limitedness came back. In fact, Pujya Swamiji, used to analyze this very well. He used to say there is no object called happiness. There are what they call, happy hours. But there are, in that also there is no happiness. I hope all of you know what are happy hours, If not, you ask me during satsang, I will explain. So there is no object called happiness. There is no object called satisfaction. What is satisfaction? My being satisfied is satisfaction. My being happy is called happiness. It means the satisfaction or happiness, whatever we call it, is centered on I, not the object. And therefore, this happiness or satisfaction is centered on me, and even the dissatisfaction is also centered on me only. Unhappiness also is centered on me. So as there is no happiness as an object or a person in the world, there is no object or a person called unhappiness as well. So I understand that this dissatisfaction is also centered on me, and satisfaction also is centered on me. And since the problem is centered on me, therefore, the solution also has to be centered on me alone. And therefore, what? The problem lies within me. Solution also lies within me, not with the objects outside me. Suppose if a person called Devadatta has got a headache, then it is Devadatta who has to take a medicine, isn't it? Not Yajnadatta. Similarly, the problem of dissatisfaction or unhappiness is centered on me. The solution also has to be centered on me. And therefore, behind all the pursuits, behind all the dharmartha kama goals I am seeking, what I am seeking is happiness. What I am seeking is satisfaction. So now the next question is, when do I want to be happy? Do I want to be happy sometimes? Or I want to be happy always? And where do I want to be happy? It is only in some places or everywhere? Third question is, in which situation I want to be happy? In some situations or in all situations? The answers of for these questions are obvious, isn't it? If we are asked, when do you want to be happy? We will say, I want to be happy forever. Where do you want to be happy? I want to be happy everywhere. And in what situations you want to be happy? In all situations, I want to be happy. This will be our answer. And that is possible only when this happiness is my nature. So happiness being my nature comes as a sense of possibility. Like a sugar crystal, can be sweet irrespective of time, place, and situation. And that is possible only when the sweetness is the nature of sugar. Similarly, happiness is possible to be timeless. Happiness is possible to be free from the limitation of place for me. Then it has to be my nature, then only it is possible. And there is another proof as to why happiness is my nature. Because experientially, sometimes we do have that experience of being free from the limitation. We feel very happy, as if there is an experience of a complete man, a fulfilled man. Once a while, this experience comes. And that also, that experience of the temporary happiness also gives me the glimpse, that gives me the sense of possibility that actually speaking, happiness is my very nature. And my being unhappy may be just a notion, a projection, maybe a superimposition. Now, equally, there is another possibility also there. Maybe unhappiness is in my nature and happiness may be coming once in a while, giving me a false idea. Though that possibility is also there, but I feel comfortable when I am happy and uncomfortable when I am unhappy. And therefore, when I compare these two, what is the probability of my nature being happiness or happiness being my nature or unhappiness being my nature? I come to the conclusion that it looks like happiness is my nature. So again, that sense of possibility comes. This is all Puja Swamiji, analyzes so thoroughly. You will not find this analysis anywhere in any scriptures. All Puja Swamiji's analysis. That is why he was such a great teacher. Of course, there's a third possibility. What is that? I do not know what really I am. Whether I am happy by nature and unhappiness comes once in a while from outside because of some reason, or unhappiness is by nature and happiness is coming now and then. I do not know for sure. And therefore, let me acknowledge that I do not know what my real nature is. All along, I have taken myself for granted. Never felt the need to know myself. And now, a thinking person thinks that was a mistake. And now it is critical to know what my real nature is. So he admits the problem of ignorance. And ignorance can go only by knowledge, isn't it? You cannot drive away ignorance by any karma. And therefore, he comes to the conclusion that I need to know my real self. And for knowing, I require a means of knowledge, a pramanam. Because for any knowledge, what we need is the means of knowledge. And the means of knowledge in this area does not seem to be pratyaksha, anumana, etc. This person has the exposure to karma kanda and shastra in general. And therefore he knows what is pratyaksha pramanam. All those shat pramanams he knows. And he also knows that pratyaksha pramanam is not capable because pratyaksha pramanam is meant for giving the knowledge of those objects which are objectified by the indriyas, by the sense organs. Whereas what I want to know is the knower of all this pratyaksha, anumana, etc. I don't want to get the knowledge of any object. The knowledge I am seeking is about myself, the very subject. So the knowledge of the knower cannot be gained by these means of knowledge. But the knowledge has to come from somewhere outside. And whatever means of knowledge is dealing with the self, that alone can be the means which will be useful to me. And here Puja Swamiji says very, very nicely. He says, diving deep within oneself also will not work here. Because there are many other views. You have to dive deep within yourself, do meditation and ask yourself, who am I, who am I, who am I? Then automatically the answer will come. So he says here, diving deep also will not work because here we are talking about the diver. We are not talking about what he finds by diving. And therefore, deep diving within, which is, of course, unfortunately, a very popular notion in the spiritual world. And as I said, their contention is to know the self, you have to look at the self. The self is not outside the self is inside. And therefore, where do you have to look? You have to look within. And when you say look within means what? Different people have got their own ideas about looking within. As I said, some people say looking within means ask yourself, who am I, etc. Because that will not work for a single reason. When you ask yourself, who am I, what answer will come? The answer will be based upon the knowledge that you have already acquired so far. Suppose the knowledge that you are carrying in your intellect and in your mind is that I am Ganapathy, I am a male, I am so and so, so many years old. If that is the knowledge you are carrying in your mind, if you question yourself, what will be the answer? These answers only will come. I am Ganapathy, I am a male, etc., etc. That is the knowledge already available to you. So this diving deep within business will not work. Because here we are talking about ignorance of the self and acquiring the knowledge of the self which you do not have. If you already have the knowledge of the self, where is the question of trying to acquire? And therefore, the knowledge that you have acquired so far is of objects with the help of the means of knowledge available to you. And therefore, who am I inquiry independently will not work. But that does not mean that who am I inquiry is not correct. Only thing is, who am I inquiry, you should not ask yourself. You should go and ask that pramanam, that means of knowledge, who am I? So self-inquiry will not work. So all this pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, all this will not work. What is left is only means of knowledge by parisesha nyaya. What is parisesha nyaya? Out of the shad pramanams, what is the last one? Shabda pramanam alone. Shabda here does not mean sound, but words. The means of knowledge in the form of the words of Shastra are available. And the Shabda Pramana also is of two types. One is Laukika Shabda, other is Apaurushaya Shabda, Vaidika Shabda. Laukika Shabda means the words of the people who have gathered knowledge based on their means of knowledge available to them, like Pratyaksha, etc. As we have already seen, that knowledge will not work. Those words will not work for me. Because if a person can get it through this pramanam, I can also get it. So why should I actually go to that person to seek that knowledge? And that will not work in the field of self-knowledge. And other than Laukika Shabda, we have got what? Vaidika Shabda, or the Shabdas in the form of Vedas. Vedas in our tradition, and otherwise we can call them Vedanta. And this Vedanta cannot be studied by oneself, because after studying Vedanta, given the number of contradictory statements that one will come across, different people will come out with different conclusions. And therefore, Vedanta has to be studied with the help of a teacher. Even though Vedanta, the words of Vedanta alone are the means of knowledge, but they will become means of knowledge only when they are handled by teachers. By teachers who have been trained in unfolding the message of the Vedas, what the underlying messages of the Vedas are. Such teachers are known as Sampradayavit, who come in the teaching tradition, Guru Parampara, who have learned from their gurus, they have learned from their gurus and all that. So the Guru Parampara, starting from Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. A guru who has come in that tradition only can unfold, not any guru. So therefore, now this Brahmana, who has acquired this Vairagyam Nirbedam, he wants to know how to gain that limitlessness, moksha, liberation from feeling limited permanently. Because he has discovered that karma road will not take him to moksha. And he has heard that there are some vakyas of the Shastra where anityata of karma phala is talked about and the secret of gaining nitya moksha is expounded. Of course, this type of thinking does not come by itself. He would have probably attended some satsang or heard some talks, read some books. Puja Swamiji used to call it paperback knowledge. He will read and then some idea he will get, which will kindle some more curiosity in him. And therefore, the Upanishad says, when you develop that hunger for that knowledge, seek proper guidance. And even access to that, the so-called paperback knowledge or attending satsang, etc., requires certain samskara. Because it is not that everybody who attends those satsang or reads those, those books, they will get this curiosity to know more. I am sure that many of you, when you look back as to what is the background, why did you come, how did you come to Vedanta? Whether these classes or you have attended previous classes or, taken to Vedanta and all, if you just look at it, you will always find that amongst, probably thousands of people who are exposed to this, you are one of the few who wanted to, in whom the curiosity arose to know more. And when you started attending the class, that curiosity increased. So that hunger for knowledge again doesn't come to everybody. And when you develop that hunger, the mantra says, seek proper guidance. Therefore, tad vijnanartham. Tad means what? Akritam vijnanartham. That paripurna tattvam vijnanartham. For the purpose of knowing. Vijnanartham means for the purpose of knowing. That akritam, that limitless. Saha, that sadhaka. That brahmana. That sattvic person who has now become a mumukshu and a jignasu. Saha gurum eva abhigachet. Abhigachet means should go, should approach. Gurum eva, the teacher alone. And Bhashyakara will say later in the Bhashyam, this evakara means indeed, necessarily. And this evakara is also suggesting that one should not study the scripture by oneself. Shastranyah api brahmajnana anveshanam swatantriyena na kuryat. Na akuryat. Na akuryat. So even one person, a person who is shastranya, Shastram janati iti shastranya, the one who already knows Shastram, knows lot of Vedas, is a master. Still, when he want to expound the knowledge, inquire into Brahma and gain Brahma Jnanam, he should not do it alone. We'll see later some example. Narada, who was supposed to be a very great scholar, when he wanted to acquire Brahmajnanam, what he did, he went to Sanat Kumara as a Shishya, and Sanat Kumara taught him Brahmajnana. That is why Narada became a Jnani. So even the most profound scholar also, when he or she wants to inquire into Brahman, Swatantriyena na akuryat. He should not do it. He or she should not do it independently on their own. So to emphasize that, even if somebody knows Sanskrit, of course, these days most people do not know Sanskrit, and it is a blessing in disguise. So they will not venture to study the Shastra on their own. But I know a person who knows little bit of Sanskrit. He thinks he knows a lot, and he studies all the Shastra on his own. And he gives, some talks, Bhagavad Gita talks and all he gives. But, only literal interpretation of the words of the Gita. That is the maximum he can do, because he has not learned what is Krishna wanting to convey through Bhagavad Gita. He has not learned from any guru. So keep a dictionary here and then, try to translate. And sometimes the translations are horrible. In fact, I happened to go to one of his classes, and after the class, I walked away. It was really, I thought I'll get some value out of it, but then I became scared that if whatever value I've got, I will also lose that if I attend those classes. And therefore, suppose I say, no, I don't know Sanskrit, but I will use English translations which are available. One cannot be sure of the authenticity of these translations or the translators. But suppose, as I said, Narada's example, even suppose you know Sanskrit, you know a lot, you have read somewhere and all that, you should not study this Shastra on your own, especially this Vedanta Shastra by oneself. One has to go to a teacher. And what is the methodology to go to a teacher? One should not just go then ring the bell of the teacher's house, or knock. Hi Guru, I have come here to learn Vedanta. No. He should go Samitpanihi. Samitpanihi means having a samit. Samit means a particular type of wooden twig, which are used for rituals. They are used, to as oblation, they are offered in the fire. Because in those days, in the Gurukulam, ashrams, etc., many rituals will be going on. Because many of the gurus were Grihastha gurus. They were Grihastha Jnanis. So they will be continuing to perform all their Grihastha duties rather. Whatever the Veda Purva Bhaga ordains for a Grihastha to perform, they will continue to be performing that. They were not sannyasis, all of them were not sannyasis. And so for performing all those rituals, Samit will be required to ignite and sustain the fire. And also, as I said, to offer as oblations in the fire. And therefore, this would-be Sishya, this Mumukshu has gone to the Guru for Guru seeking knowledge, should not go empty-handed to a Guru's place to seek knowledge. In fact, in our culture, it is said that whenever we go to visit a house which has children, old people, and also when we go to visit a Guru, we must never go empty-handed. We must carry something which will be useful to them. Children, you can carry some biscuit packet. Old people and Guru, you can carry some fruits. And this cultural value is reflected in this word, Samitpanihi. And therefore, the would-be student thinks that he should carry something which will be useful to the Guru and the ashram. And therefore, Samitpani. So Samitpanihi is there. Samitpanihi refers to the person who should go to the Guru, to the teacher, with this firewood in his hand. He is called Samitpanihi. And Puja Swamiji says here that the person who is ready to serve is called a Sushrushu. Sushrushu means one who is serving. And it has got another meaning also. Shrotum ichuhu sushrushuhu. So sushrushuhu, literally the verbal meaning is the one who is desirous of listening. But to fulfill the desire of listening, he is ready to do whatever needs to be done. And one of the things to be done is serving the teacher. And therefore, Puja Swamiji brings out this meaning of Sushrusha very beautifully. Both the meanings he brings out. Desire to listen to the words of Shastra from the teacher. And also, Sushrusha has got the meaning of Seva, serving the teacher. So, Samitpanihi indicates the Sushrusha, this desire to listen and readiness to do whatever needs to be done for listening to the scripture. And for that, he needs to go to a teacher. What type of teacher? Upanishad says not any teacher. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Two qualifications of the Guru are talked about. One, the Guru who is Shrotriyam. One who has been exposed to the teaching of the Shastra. One who knows the methodology of teaching. And how does he know the methodology of teaching? Because he himself was exposed to this teaching. And as I said, other words, one who has studied the Shastra from a traditional teacher, to that Guru who has studied from his or her Guru is called Shrotriyam. To that teacher one should go. In fact, in many of these spiritual circles, if you go and meet a Mahatma and introduce yourself that you have learnt Vedanta, One question they will ask, a first question, from whom did you learn? Who was your guru? To make sure that what you have learned is correct only. So, Shrotriyam is important. And here, to some extent, one can find out whether the teacher is a Shrotriya by knowing if this person is brought up in the culture where Shastra study is there. That means he knows the Shastra that is in the Vedas. And because of that, he is recognized as such in the society, because it is the society of Shrotriyas. So here, social background, social situation, etc., will help a person to recognize whether the other person is a Shrotriya or not. Not completely, of course, but to some extent rather. Puja Swamiji used to give the example of a PhD scholar. So someone is, suppose, is PhD in mathematics. Then we can know that this person will be knowing mathematics. Isn't it? In fact, even if we can't make out it, because we may not know mathematics, people who know mathematics can find out whether this person knows mathematics and they will vouch for it. Similarly, in the society where study of Shastra is prevalent, there it will be relatively easy to figure out whether this person is a Shrotriya or not. And the person who wants to find out also has got some background to know what Shastras are there. He may not know all the Shastras, but he knows at least some of the Shastras, some Upanishads and all. He knows that the Shastras have been, the Vedas have been codified into Rig, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Tarvana Veda, etc. He has heard something about Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, etc. And as I said, one important aspect is whether the Guru has studied from somebody or not. Does the Guru belong to the Parampara? That also is important. So whose Shishya he is, that is important. And as we saw in the first section, the lineage of teachers, whether he has studied Shastra from a traditional teacher or not. If somebody says, I am the disciple of Acharya Rajneesh, who was also Osho, will we call him a Shrotriya? Rajneesh himself was not a Shrotriya. He may have been a very popular teacher, a world-renowned teacher. His teaching may also have, some Vedanta content in them, but he will still not be a Shrotriya. So Shrotriya means one who has studied under a traditional teacher. That to that extent one can find out. What is the second qualification? Second qualification is the Guru who is a Brahmanishta. How to find out Brahmanishta? Really speaking, we cannot find out. Puja Swamiji says, if you want to find out whether the other person is a Brahmanishta or not, you yourself have to be a Brahmanishta. Only a Brahmanishta can recognize another Brahmanishta. And when we need to find out whether the Guru is Brahmanishta, at that stage we will not be Brahmanishta. And when you become Brahmanishta, and you can find out another Brahmanishta, you will not require to know. So when I need to find out, I cannot find out, and then when I can find out, I need not find out. So it's a sort of a catch-22 situation. So Brahmanishta means one who is abiding in Brahman. Abiding in Brahman means abiding in the knowledge of Brahman, in Brahmagyanam. That means he has really got commitment to this Brahmagyanam. And that commitment will be revealed through his approach towards Shastra, towards the pursuit. He does not abide in karma, etc. The one who doesn't think that even though I got Brahma Jnanam, but let me do little bit of karma. In other words, one who is steadfast in his knowledge and belief that only Jnanam will work for moksha and not karma. He should not have even an iota of doubt about this. That is a Brahmanishta. More we will see in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Om.
Thank you all very much.
ధన్యవాదాలు
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you,
Namaskaram.
Guruji.
Thank you. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji, very much. Pranam. Feel blessed even just listening to these talks.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, thank you. No hands are going up. Heavy stuff, huh? Okay. So then fine. I mean, if there are no questions, we can close the session and meet next week. Okay. Hari Om. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.